Oh, this is really chilling. So I want to see first date. No, kiss, maybe. More kissing stories here.
Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing in the bar again, and there he was. And again the next week, he offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him. Romantic.
It's nothing more romantic than eating chips on a beach. I mean, that is the British courtship ritual.
Yes. I thought about telling Hannah. I felt guilty after the kiss. But then it began to feel like this was the way it should be. Sharing, like we had before. He never mentioned her to me. There was the Simon with me and the Simon with her. It was almost like it was a different Simon. But
God, so they had an affair behind Hannah's back. That is messed up. Oh man, so if I type in affair, so nothing there, but let's see if it brings up anything when she's trying to be Hannah.
an affair? Simon wasn't having an affair.
I think we just proved that he was. Anything later?
You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing?
I guess you didn't technically have an affair, he did, but you cheated on your sister? I guess?
And what did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
She seems kind of deferential there. What's the Glasgow bit? Now I don't really want to go to this too much. I don't want to go too early. I still want to kind of pursue later stuff. I don't know. I just want to get that later stuff there. But maybe I should just go for the first stuff. The other thing she mentioned was a Ouija board. I think that's how you spell Ouija. Yeah, there we go.
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Well, that's kind of messed up. Just trying anything here. So we are filling up that last bit quite nicely. Dreams, princess. She mentioned princesses a lot. There's a lot there, so let's go to the end one.
We were obsessed with fairy tales.
I'm getting that.
Not just the pretty, pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
So, fairy tales? I've totally spelt tales completely wrong there. Fairy tales. There we go. Back with the fairy tales.
Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories.
She also mentioned a little while back Arabian Nights. So we've already got that. Just kind of going for anything here. Lost Children? That's a very good film starring Ron Perlman. I want to find out what happened to those babies. Like, where did those babies go? Let's see. I'm just going through all my notes that I've written down. I've written a lot of notes down. So let's go with... Oh, wait. Inheritance. Inheritance. No. Inherit. House. I want to talk about her in parents' house. I'm going to try that one just to see.
Okay.
So this is interview towards the end.
I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on a peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Okay, so one thing I want to try and trigger is Simon's parents, because they lived with Simon's... Actually, let's try go for wedding. I never went for wedding, did I? Now, there's 6 entries there. Simon's parents. So it was Doug and Eleanor. Okay, might as well go through these.
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them. I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us. There's always been pressure.
Always been pressure.
I hoover, I dust every week. Maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust and she said, if people ask, tell them you do it once a week. But every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day. You know, ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front. She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage, and she still has a secret like that.
Well, Hannah had a secret that you were her twin, so, you know, I'm not sure you're one to talk there. Let's see Eleanor. Let's see if there's anything else for Eleanor. Ah, there's one there.
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Yeah, I think she did that one on purpose. Now I'm stumped for kind of getting things towards the end of that sort of thread of thought. I'm desperate to kind of clock up what's going on here. So in my head, she was born, she lived with Florence until Florence was 8 and fell down the stairs, which I'm still suspicious about. And then she went to live across the road and they hid and they pretended that they were one person. They did that a lot with the boys. Let's try and spell that the right way, shall we? So there's a lot of sexy sex. And then they met Simon. First date, Simon? Maybe? No. And on the first date they went to the movies and they did it together. Second one, Eve did the date and they kissed. On the third date, Hannah slept with her and got pregnant in that one night. And then presumably they got married. So let's look into getting married, shall we? And see what the wedding was like.
There's married couple stuff. A stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push your buttons better than those you're close to.
Now, I like that quote about no one pushes your buttons better than someone you're close to. So did her sister push her buttons?
A long time. We got married when I was 17.
Well, I got that one right. Child bride and all.
Childhood sweethearts. Something like that. Are you married, detective?
Now, I wonder in this, is Hannah still around? Or are they splitting it between them again? I don't know. Because we only see her tattoo when she's in the blue t-shirt, which is 1st of July. So anything up to July. So I figured out that there's 4 different versions of her before the 1st of July. So bear that in mind. I don't know, I think that's quite an outlandish theory, but we might as well bear that in mind. See, there's no
when
tattoo.
You've been married for 10 years, stuff accumulates. We could argue about anything. And he's so nice. That doesn't help. He tries to smooth things over, and that just makes it worse. We're both passive-aggressive, so we never normally argue directly about anything.
Now check that out. There's no tattoo on her arm, and this is on the 25th of June. So that's the second interview she's pulled in for. So I think we've got a switcheroony on our hands here.
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room. And they decided we should get married.
Shotgun wedding then. Yeah, because look at her tattoo. It's pretty obvious. So where did the switch happen? So let's see if we can see more about the wedding.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married.
So I think this could actually
It was
be Hannah.
A beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to Come Back and Stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us.
So that's extra poignant given, that the twins would have been sharing at this point. Now, another thing I'm wondering, is it that Hannah has her hair up and Eve has her hair down? Because that orange dress is the 27th. Yeah, so that's before the tattoo first makes an appearance. So could it be that these are all Hannah and the other one's hair down is Eve?
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday.
Oh man, this is getting really messed up. But then she did say she got a tattoo to commemorate. So commemorate what in between June and July?
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
So she was up in Glasgow. What happened then?
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Now, she's talking about the wedding from the point of photo, so I don't think she was actually there, and I think Hannah was happy because it was the first time she got to be with Simon on her own. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see if anything comes up with shotgun wedding or wedding dress. Princess Diana. Train. The wedding train? No. Now, when we hit Glasgow before, there was a lot to uncover, so let's go through this. Now, her hair's down here, but it goes up, so 256, 954, so I don't know if I'm just...
So I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
So why were you in Glasgow? So this is not too early
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then headed back.
Why did she go to Glasgow, though? I mean, I've been there. There's not much there.
No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning.
What were you doing in Glasgow? That's quite a drive from Portsmouth.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving licence on me.
This is Eve.
When I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
So presumably this was when Simon went missing. So let's see what Glasgow Hospital
I don't
says.
see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital.
Okay, so she was in hospital when he was killed.
Ask the hospital.
Cold. Miscarriage? Did she have a miscarriage? Ah, let's find this old one.
Hannah had a miscarriage.
There we go.
This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
See, now you know what to look for. You can see the difference between Eve and Hannah. Like, Hannah's a bit more softer and nicer and a bit more clueless about it and almost tired, whereas Eve seems a lot harder.
Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. The miscarriage and then my parents.
So that was 1984 that she miscarried, and then her parents died. That's pretty tough.
Yeah. They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
That is quite a roller coaster that she got pregnant, she got married, she moved in with his parents, she had a miscarriage, and then her parents died.
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
So that's her saying... So because it was Eve who got pregnant the second time? So hospital came up... Hospital... didn't come up with too much. So let's go for Eric and see what we can uncover there.
He was wearing a shirt.
So this is early on.
With a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, like Paddington Bear. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house.
So at this point they think Simon's still alive.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come and see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
So Friday evening they had an argument and he went missing. Saturday he still hadn't turned up. She went to the police on the Sunday.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van, but I can look for you when I get back.
So I think this is definitely Hannah here.
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
Right, let's look up Diane. I'm still trying to get my head around the timeline of when... Oh, she's got a guitar. Of when Eve got pregnant. So it's when she started having an affair.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the Glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
So she used to work at the Glaziers as well?
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off Ceefax, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel?
Fennel's pretty nice if you roast it with potatoes. Okay, let's go for this one with the guitar. Look out, she's got a guitar.
Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
She talks about Diane a lot, and whenever she talks about Diane, she's got a quite misty look in her eyes. What should we go for next? Now, I wanted... Oh, the rock... What was it? I've got to go into my notepad here. The Rockington Arms? Yeah, that was it. The Rockington Arms. I can't type today. Here we go. Rockington Arms. No, the Rock, maybe? Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong. No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone Simon knew from the Rock.